Uh, Good morning, fine humans. It's so dark 30. The Super Bowl was yesterday, and it is what it is. So it's not necessarily who wins, but how you play the game and what you take from somewhat random battles we wage with each other. Um, and we know that the battle's really with ourselves. It's not usually with the other, but we like to have winners and losers and give prizes, and it's what we do. But maybe there's a few other ways to approach life that ground us a little better. So, thank you for joining my somewhat out of the bell curve approach. I've taken a deep dive into my own mind and heart to try to spell out what I think is valuable for what the life lessons that took me a really long time to figure out, because I was doing it intellectually instead of emotionally, and it's much easier to feel your way through, like riding a bicycle. You don't think about how to ride it. You determine that it's better if you are able to balance and pedal and keep moving, and you discover that when you stop moving, tend to fall over. So it's kind of like that, riding a bicycle, and holding your mouth right. But it took me a long time to figure a lot of these things out, and then I started writing them down. I wrote a bunch of stuff over the last 15 years or so, and it's only by putting some of these errant thoughts into words, and I could see them and look at them, review them, and say, okay, yeah, that's the way it is. And I didn't clearly understand it, but now, sort of in retrospect, looking backward, they say hindsight is 20/20. So this is kind of like, well, it is hindsight for me because I'm not 20 years old. But, and again, I'm getting to the point where I just want to have conversations, simple, easy conversations with people, and I don't want to be pronouncing big, what's it called? I'm not the Pope. Everybody is their own Pope, and you get to make your choices every day that are the best for you, and it's the only way you get there. You pay your dues. So, but in view of that, in plain Jane reality, this was written about 5 years ago. I'm finding older stuff that I haven't put up, and good Lord, 4.5 minutes in, and I haven't really done anything yet. So I don't know. Maybe start over, or we'll just keep this as it is and roll with it. Okay. So say 5 minutes in before I can begin. Which way is the highway? End of February 2019. My brothers and sisters, my monkey cousins, I have so much to tell you about your beauty and your brilliance, about your pulsing, vibrant lives. But you know your lives better than I ever could, and you know how keenly you love your mates, your children, your parents, all the people who populate your world. And there was no way to calibrate all that love, or even to describe it adequately, for how could I know the intensity of feeling you possess that drives our very human equation, except it is not an equation, but an infinite sort of balancing act we do. The real human enterprise of living and loving life, our struggle to communicate that love to the ones who raised us, and to the ones we are trying to raise, growing and loving always being a subtle art, not given to easy analysis or any particular mathematical formula. But if we could only discover the secret rule book which summarized the main ideas and all the parts to the puzzle, and could give us a real roadmap to life. Perhaps it is only the ability to see ourselves in context and know that the whole world does not revolve around any one of us, but that there is a commons which we all belong to. And further, that our real meaning only exists in the nature of those relationships. And even further, a man or woman does not exist alone, but only as part of a larger fabric of connections. And yes, you yourself were not born alone, but part of a continuous thread of connected life, extending back, very far back into the distant past, further than is possible to know, and our day-to-day short-term memories cannot hold all that lived reality. We can only feel the weight of all that time once in a while, and the immensity of the gift becomes palpable to our tactile intuition and our desire to pay back to those who carried on in hope that we could share the blessing of life's beauty. And yes, we are most certainly individuals, each of us unique, special, but like orphans or castaways on a desert island, we all yearn for a sense of connection to the bigger thing, to family, to country, to God, and to know we belong to a greater truth than ourselves. And the big irony is that we inevitably do. We just have a hard time admitting it. Some use the Bible and the life of Jesus, and that is fine. Many other good folks cling to their own religion as well, and that is fine. Other folks glean intel from decent, bright humans, and that also works, because usually humans try to help and to be kind, and rubbing up against our kith and kin is part of the program, and how our rough edges get polished into smooth and elegant examples of the silent beauty that surrounds us. Then we, bit by bit, realize that there is also something which is beyond man himself. A larger harmony, a deeper truth than only what our minds permit us to imagine. But where is the universal playbook which spells out how all humans can live in peace on planet Earth? Maybe the real battle is inside of our hearts, how we choose to treat ourselves and how we choose to treat those around us as related beings, for all of us spring from the same ultimate and most uncommon mystery. And I can only ask in 2024, in February of 2024, are we only destined to wage perpetual war on each other? The battle of the sexes, the battle to find our place and carve out our niche, the battle for people to finally understand we cannot get there with invective and anger and blame, And the only true way which all our gods agree on is through active concern, through an unspoken loving glance, a quiet touch of a hand on another's arm, a quick smile of a shared knowledge, a secret shared knowing that we are all part of a very secret society which denies any knowledge of its own existence. So, there's a political bit at the end, and don't take it too personally, because I don't identify with any particular political group. As Will Rogers said, for those who knew of him, I am not a member of any organized political party. I'm a Democrat. Well, even for my vibrant and beautiful friends on the right, who are riding the Trump train, perhaps to the bitter end of a belligerent vision, let the beatings continue until morale improves. I owe that to my brother. I stole it from him. And for all of the mortals on this gem of a miracle we call Earth, maybe someday we will see and know that we humans are only one part of a reality we are at a loss to adequately define. Sorry for the lengthy bit, but thanks for the use of the hall.